This might sound crazy, but a couple days ago, I went to the thrift shop and I ended up buying a 32-year-old keyboard for $85. Today, I'm going to be showcasing it, going over exactly why I bought it, and I'm going to be talking about exactly what this keyboard actually is as well. Let's go ahead and start off with that last part first. What exactly is this keyboard? Well, what I ended up buying for $85 is an IBM Model M keyboard that was produced on December 23rd, 1993 by Lexmark. This keyboard, to be precise, is a 1391401, which basically just means that this is the IBM Model M enhanced keyboard with the PS2 cord, which is the basis for the modern Unicomp Classic 101, which is a keyboard that I recently acquired thanks to one of y'all. I have been using the Unicomp Classic 101 that one of y'all was kind enough to contribute to the channel for the last couple weeks now, and I really like it. But I got to thinking that maybe I want to try a vintage IBM Model M. Maybe I want to try an older version of the Unicomp Classic 101. So I started going on the lookout for one of them. I was keeping an eye out, just browsing a little bit, getting an idea of what prices might be reasonable and stuff like that kind of thing. And then I got a heads up from a friend who let me know that this keyboard right here was available at a thrift shop near me for $85. I was not expecting there to be exactly what I was looking for at the thrift shop so soon, but so there was. So I went and checked it out, looked at the condition of it, and decided on the spot to purchase it without testing it. The thrift shop I went to had a 2-day return policy for electronics. It's been 2 weeks. So if this keyboard does not work, I am out of $85. Will this keyboard work? Will I like it? And overall, what are the differences between this, an IBM Model M from 1993, and my modern Unicomp Classic 101? Well, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out all of that for the very first time today. I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and go over the look of the keyboard once I actually get it out of the plastic sleeve it's in. After that, I'm thinking I should probably go ahead and start typing on this keyboard, see just how it types and what the differences are typing-wise compared to the Unicomp I'm using as of this moment in time as well. And once I'm done showcasing just how it looks, once I'm done showing off what the condition of it is and everything like that, and once I'm done typing, I'm thinking I should probably go ahead and go inside, plug it in with a PS2 to USB converter I got, and I should see if this keyboard actually works or not. But as said, first off, we've got to go ahead and get this keyboard out of the plastic sleeve that the thrift shop put it in. We can see that on the plastic sleeve, there is a little bit of a sticker right there. Just says $85. It does say that this item was tested on the packaging, but I don't know how true that is, I will acknowledge. Just says that this item was put out originally on April 8th of 2025, and it just says the description, IBM Model M keyboard. And that's pretty much all there is to the sticker, I will acknowledge. So the thrift shop definitely knew what they had, but they didn't know exactly what they had because they didn't write down that this is a 1391401, and they didn't write down that it's an IBM Model M enhanced keyboard, so they knew what this was, but not precisely so. Let's go ahead and see if I can get this sleeve off just real quick. And let's go ahead and actually take a look at the look and condition of this keyboard. It does appear to be in very good condition, though. I do think the previous owner of this keyboard took extremely good care of it. Just taking a look at it, just as I'm unwrapping it, and man, it is in fantastic shape. I'm not really noticing any nicks or scratches. I'm seeing a little bit of staining, so this is definitely used. This is not brand new. Seeing a little bit of fading on some of the keys and stuff like that, maybe as well, although even that I'm not certain about. But I'm just seeing like one nick over here on the front of the keyboard, seeing a little bit of like a stain from what looks like maybe a droplet of coffee or something like that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and get it out the rest of the way, just like that, if I possibly can. And I think the first thing I want to start off with the condition of this keyboard is probably the cord, as I imagine the cords go out before anything else. This cord is indeed removable, so I think for this portion I might go ahead and see if I can remove it. Maybe I just don't want to like set the keyboard down on the cord, but there we go. Got that all out. I do not know if this is the original cord or not, I will acknowledge, but it does appear to be in pretty good condition, I will acknowledge. There's a little bit of corrosion on the silver pieces of the cord and whatnot, but overall, the cord itself is perfectly fine. Just says 2142 right there. And yes, this does appear to be the original cord, as it actually says IBM right there on the PS2 portion of it. I don't know exactly what this portion is called, but it's called something, I'm sure. Overall, though, cord seems to be in great condition, and I assume the cords are probably, generally speaking, what goes out first, especially in more arid environments, although it's not a particularly arid environment in my local area, so I'm not particularly surprised. It is still perfectly fine, but rubber does degrade over time, a little bit more so than not than plastic does, which is, of course, what this keyboard is made out of. And without the cord, which is a little bit hefty just by itself, this keyboard is actually a little bit lighter. But the first and most major difference between this keyboard that I'm holding in my hand right now and the Unicomp that I have in my room is weight, I will acknowledge. That's the first and most major difference that I'm just noticing right off the top of my head. This keyboard is significantly heavier than the Unicomp that I have, which is not a light keyboard by any means. It is still a pretty heavy keyboard. This one is even heavier though, which is pretty crazy if I do say so myself. I really do feel like if I wanted to, I could just whack somebody over the head with it or something like that kind of thing, and I don't know if they would be able to recover, frankly put. This is a heavy keyboard, and it really does just feel like it is quality. The plastic itself, I'm just feeling it and just looking at it as well. The plastic definitely feels like it's a slightly different plastic than the Unicomp as well. And overall, this keyboard just feels more hefty, and it feels, I hate to say higher quality, but it does feel higher quality than the Unicomp I have. Not that the Unicomp I have is bad quality, it's just that this keyboard is better quality when I'm holding it and stuff like that kind of thing. It does still kind of creak every once in a while and whatnot, and definitely pieces of the plastic you can see have bent over time, and when you press down on them, they creak and they move just a little bit. It's just an old keyboard type of thing, but overall, I really do feel like this keyboard is more so than not just a better build than the Unicomp I have, which I said is not a bad build. This is just a better build. But just taking a look at the actual look of this keyboard, we can see, of course, it looks like it's from the 1980s. Of course, the IBM Model M is a keyboard series that first released in the 1980s, so it makes sense that this looks like it's from that era. In the very top corner over here, we can see the old classic 1980s IBM logo, which looks fantastic in my personal opinion. We can see that this keyboard is also a 101 key format, so there's no Windows key or anything like that. And of course, this keyboard also has buckling springs, which is exactly why I wanted to buy this keyboard. If this keyboard did not have buckling springs, I wouldn't have bought it, I will acknowledge. We can see that there's num lock, caps lock, and scroll lock just right over there in these sort of areas. Definitely look different than the Unicomp that I have. They have changed that look just a little bit. And of course, on the Unicomp that I have as well, it doesn't say IBM on it, as it's not an IBM made keyboard, or it's not an IBM Model M, technically speaking, anymore. It's a Unicomp Model M or a Unicomp Classic 101, whatever you want to call it. This is actually a real IBM branded Model M, which is very cool. Overall, I think that this keyboard looks fantastic. It's got a very nice retro 1980s design to it, and overall, I gotta admit, condition-wise, it's pretty dang solid. There's definitely a couple nicks, a couple sort of stains on it, which look like coffee or tea stains, and a couple just scratches and whatnot, some of which I do think have been touched up over time, some of which have not. But overall, this keyboard is in very good condition, and it is very clean as well. I do think whoever had this keyboard before giving it to the thrift shop probably either cleaned it or restored it. That's my personal guess, at least. But just to point out some of the sort of minor condition issues with this keyboard. We can see there's a little bit of a nick right there that is barely visible. There's also the tiniest bit of a stain just right there as well. A little bit of a stain right under the caps lock right there above my finger as well. And there's a little bit of a nick right there as well. And overall, that's pretty much it. There's a couple other even more minor things than that, but frankly put, this keyboard is in fantastic condition. Are there any other condition issues with this keyboard or anything like that kind of thing? I don't think so. It looks fantastic. The keys all look like they're in great condition, and just feeling the keys under my fingertips for the very first time. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put back my camera just a little bit and just bring it down just so y'all can actually see the keyboard and whatnot. But overall, just feeling the keys for the very first time under my fingers, they definitely do have a different feeling to them than the Unicomp keys. The Unicomp keys feel, I'm just gonna say it frankly, they feel like more like a modern keyboard, like just the type of plastic they're made out of. It just feels more like modern keycap plastic. This, on the other hand, it just feels different. It just feels like it's a little bit rougher, has a little bit more texture to it. It doesn't feel quite as it doesn't feel quite as much like what I'm used to. Like the keycaps on the Unicomp Classic 101 that I use, it feels very similar plastic-wise to what the keycaps feel like on other keyboards I've used previously. This, on the other hand, the plastic is just a little bit more rough. It's maybe not a little bit heavier weight, but it just feels like it is because it's a little bit rougher, and overall it's just a little bit of a different feeling overall. So I can definitely say there are some differences between the Unicomp Classic 101 made today and the classic IBM Model M 1391401 from the 1980s or 90s. And even this keyboard, I'm sure, has some changes between a 1980s IBM Model M versus this one, which is a 1993 version. From what I've heard, the 1980s ones are even heavier than this one. This one is already pretty heavy. It's already heavier than the Unicomp, but I've heard that even older ones than this are even heavier, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. Overall, this keyboard is in great condition. The cord is in great condition. The keycaps feel a little bit different, and really, the main differences I'm noticing, really, weight. The keycaps feel a little bit different. The plastic feels like it's heavier, and I gotta admit, better quality. And overall construction just seems to be better in my personal opinion. Overall, and there's a couple different differences looks-wise as well, of course. But overall, yeah, this keyboard, it looks fantastic. It really is the classic IBM Model M look. It's got the curvature on the keycaps, which is fantastic in my personal opinion. That's something I really like. And just trying to think if there's any other differences just looking at it. I can't really think of any. No, overall great condition though. Yeah. Some things to mention though. It does appear that these keys, I think they're original. The Alt key and one of the other keys might not be original, I'm not sure. But one thing to mention, the Alt keys, it's not black on the Alt keys, it's actually green right there, which is very interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that and see why exactly that is. And then on the print screen button for the sys requirements or sys RQ text on the side of it, that's also green. That is not the case on my IBM, or not, sorry, that is not the case on my Unicomp either, but it is the case on this IBM. Overall though, yeah, gotta admit, looks fantastic. I love the look of this keyboard. It is in great condition. And overall, so far, I'm feeling like the $85 I spent was well worth it. But let's go ahead and actually type on this keyboard. Let's see how this keyboard is to type on, and let's see if there's any typing differences between this keyboard and the Unicomp that I've been using for the last couple weeks. So I think I'm gonna type a couple sentences. Ooh, that's slightly different. That is slightly different. And I'm gonna have to move my phone because when I'm typing, I did just realize that everything shakes. It shakes the table so much. Let's get that on there, just like that. But there we go. Just move my phone just a little bit so it doesn't shake the entire phone anymore while I'm shaking the table. yeah, there's definitely some differences. There's definitely some differences. To really say these differences for sure, I'm definitely going to have to wait until I go inside and actually plug in the keyboard and stuff like that because I've got my Unicomp inside. However, just differences right off the bat, it feels like the keys are more close to the base of the keyboard. It feels like they're just closer, so there's less, it doesn't feel like the keys are going as far down. Personally, it feels like they're much closer to the base of the keyboard or to the, I don't know the terminology. I'm not an expert on keyboards by any means. I just like keyboards. I guess to the base plate of the keyboard, I guess is really the right way of putting it. But it just feels like the keys are closer to the base plate of the keyboard. And these are very clicky, but it's very interesting as well on the IBM, sorry, no, this is the IBM. On the Unicomp, with a lot of the keys, I can very much feel in like the middle of the keystroke, the buckling spring actually starting to hit and everything like that. And then there's a little bit of movement down once again. But with this keyboard, on the other hand, like pressing it, I get the tactile feel, but then there's really no room to go down after that. So there's definitely some typing differences between this, a 1993 IBM Model M, and the Unicomp Classic 101 from today. There's definitely some differences. They're not huge, typing-wise or visually, but there definitely are some differences without doubt. I'm just gonna go ahead and type a couple sentences just to get some good keyboard ASMR going. So let's just type Minecraft chicken jockey. I really like typing on this keyboard. I'm not gonna lie. It is really nice to type on. It feels great. It's super tactile. It's definitely got a little bit of a different feeling to it than the Unicomp, which is very interesting and is not what I was expecting, I will acknowledge. I was expecting this to be very, very, very similar typing-wise to the Unicomp, but no, it really does feel like the keystrokes are even shorter than they are on the Unicomp, which is already shorter than what I was used to before that, which was a Logitech G710, which is what I was using for like 10 years before the Unicomp. These keystrokes feel very short, but still very, very, very tactile. But once you get it and the buckling spring sort of clicks, there's no more room to go down after that. Whereas with the Unicomp, sometimes there is like more room to go down, which is very interesting. And this keyboard definitely sound-wise, I'd have to say it sounds really, really, really nice. Super satisfying noise in my personal opinion. About the same, I'd have to say, about the same noise level as the Unicomp, but a little bit of a different sound. Not too much of a different sound, still very much a buckling spring sound, but a little bit of a different sound nonetheless. I do think, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself a little bit of a screenshot real quick. I have showed you guys what the keyboard looks like. I've showed you guys what the condition of it is. I haven't shown you guys the back of the keyboard yet. I actually do need to do that real quick. But I have gone ahead and showed you guys the condition, the look of it. I've typed on it a little bit, and I've talked about what it is and everything like that. I've gotten out of that plastic wrap. So after I show you guys the back of the keyboard, and after I grab myself a little bit of a screenshot for this video, I'm then gonna go ahead and go inside, and I'm gonna try to plug it into my computer for the very first time, and I'm gonna see if this keyboard actually works. I hope it does, but we're gonna find out. So let's go ahead and see if I can grab myself a screenshot real quick. I am gonna go ahead and put my phone back on my other tripod, just to make this a little bit easier on myself, just so it's not so awkward trying to grab a screenshot. And let's just bring this up just a little bit. And one thing I do really like about this keyboard, I really like the detachable cable. Like, that's really nice for transport purposes, I will acknowledge. That's super cool. But I don't think that's a thing on the Unicomp either. But let's go ahead and just take a look at the back of the keyboard real quick momentarily, and we can see this is what the back of the keyboard looks like. Looks like a little bit of a hole right there for whatever reason. That's not on my Unicomp, I don't think. And we can see just a sticker right there just telling us exactly what this keyboard is. If you guys want to take a look at that up close and personal, feel free to do so now and pause the video. But I'm going to read off what it says. It just says, manufactured for IBM by Lexmark. Lexmark International Inc., copyright 1984, made in USA. The part number for this keyboard is the 1391401, with the date of production being the 23rd of December, 1993, which we can see right there. And it just says Model M. And that's what the back of this keyboard looks like. Does have some feet as well, which I'm not going to use. I'm not really a big fan of keyboard feet, I will acknowledge. Not my exact thing. But without further ado, let's go ahead and grab myself a little bit of a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video, if I possibly can, real quick. Well, hopefully one of those will do as the screenshot for the thumbnail of this video. I am going to go ahead and clean up out here, and I will meet you guys inside in just a couple minutes. I will see y'all very soon. I'm going to do a thumb transition or snap transition. I'll see y'all in just a minute. So, it turns out that I messed up. I decided it would be a good idea to not test my keyboard before the video, and I decided it would be a good idea to not test the converter before the video as well. I decided to go ahead and plug the converter into the cord for my keyboard, as one does, to go ahead and get it set up for this portion of the video. And, well, it doesn't fit. I bought the wrong converter. I messed up, yeah. So, I'm going to return the cord that I bought, the converter that I bought, and I'm going to order another one. So I'll see y'all in a couple days once I have the proper dongle in my possession. Alright, so it has been about a week since the last clip of this video. In the last week, I went ahead and went on Amazon, found myself a new PS2 to USB adapter that has good reviews and should work for the keyboard I have. And, well, then I went ahead and picked it up, and I'm looking forward to not only getting this all out of the packaging today, but I'm also looking forward to, of course, finding out whether my over 30-year-old $85 IBM Model M from 1993 works or not. Will my biggest thrift shop purchase of all time actually work and function like a keyboard should, or will it just not work at all? I don't know, but I'm very excited to find out. Let me tell y'all what. What I've got with me in front of me is my Unicomp Classic 101. I need to go ahead and unplug this keyboard and get it out of my way just real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to unplug it. Oh man, I just hit my hand. Go and unplug that without trying to unplug everything else at the same time. And I'm just going to grab the cord and try to get that all out just like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and put this keyboard down onto the ground. And now let's go ahead and grab the keyboard this video is all about. And we can see, of course, it's a little bit of a different look. This is a little bit different. Got the IBM logo, and the keys as a whole look slightly different, although not majorly different by any means. I've got to go ahead and plug in the wire for it real quick. So let me go ahead and get this rubber band off. But now that I have the cord all undone, which this is a massive cord, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and plug this back in, which this is really interesting. This, like, I know this is not a USB cord kind of thing, but those two holes right there, that's the same as right here. Odd. I wonder why. That's interesting. Well, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Just go ahead and plug that in. And then now I need to get my USB to PS2/PS2 to USB adapter all out so I can find out if this keyboard actually works. Does it or does it not? Let's find out. Let's go ahead, get this all unboxed, which is pretty easy right there. Any useful information on this piece? I did hear that, so PS2, I can't remember which one is for the keyboard, which one is for the mouse. It has a little diagram. Okay, there's a little diagram on the actual cord itself, which is very helpful because there's a little diagram. This one has a keyboard, this one has a mouse, and just in case you couldn't see it there, little keyboard, little mouse right there. Go and get that out. And I think that should be all of what I need, and I don't think there's anything else I need from this. This is a monoprice PS2 keyboard/mouse to USB converter adapter. Let's go ahead and take this purple cord and plug it in if I can. There we go, I think. Oh, just like that, just like that. There we go. Worked perfectly fine. No complaints on my behalf. And now I'm going to go ahead and real quick, I've heard that USB to PS2, PS2 to USB, I've heard that it can be a bit finicky. As, I mean, like with USB keyboards, you can plug and play, even if your computer is already on. However, from what I've heard, PS2 keyboards and like mice and stuff like that, like if your keyboard has some issue middle of a video game you're playing, you can't just unplug it and replug it in. You got to restart your whole computer. So you can't just plug in this keyboard when your computer is already on. Not that my computer is already on, but I just didn't want there to be any power getting sent to the converter I'm plugging it into, because I've just got like a USB hub and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and plug my computer in once again, just like that, and accidentally knocked my tripod and oh my god, oh man, why did I do this to myself? Oh man. All right, there we go. And I'll put that back down, and I want to make sure it boots with it. So go ahead and get everything on, make sure everything's booting with it. Will this work? It hasn't lit up yet. Has not lit up yet. Oh, will it work? Will it work? Is it plugged in properly? Nothing's lighting up. Oh! The space bar works, but nothing else does. Okay, that works. The backspace button does not work. That's not very good. Enter. Let me go ahead. The delete key works. That's good. Okay. So it seems some keys on this keyboard do not work, I will acknowledge. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video real quick so I can actually get into my computer. So it turns out I can't actually put the password in for my computer, I will acknowledge. This keyboard does appear to be quite used. More used than I thought. Maybe, I think it might be a good idea if I restart my computer. That could be a good idea. Because for all I know, maybe it's only like half on or something like that kind of thing. I have heard sometimes these keyboards are finicky, like certain keys will work, certain keys will not work the moment you plug it in, and sometimes you have to reformat and stuff like that kind of thing. This converter says it's no driver needed plug and play, but how no driver needed and plug and play it is not known, I will acknowledge. So we will be finding all of that information out. But it says Windows 7, 8, 8.1, 10, 11, XP, Vista compatible. So I use Windows 11, so it says that this is compatible with Windows 11. So shouldn't be an issue, shouldn't be an issue. Make sure everything's plugged in properly. TR. The enter bar on this side, the enter one on this side works, but num lock does not appear to work. Either that or these lights don't work. Caps lock does not appear to work. And scroll lock. Where's scroll lock? So either these all don't work or the lights just don't work. Well, I think I can say there is both good and bad news. The good news is that my keyboard works. It will type, it will turn on. The converter I have does work. The bad news is that either my keyboard doesn't work all the way or a lot of stuff needs to be reformatted. I'm not sure which, I will acknowledge, and this is something I'm going to have to check into. Maybe, I wonder if part of the issue is because I am plugging the keyboard. I wonder if it's like, I wonder if it would help if the keyboard is directly plugged into my computer rather than going through a USB switch or like a hub. I wonder if that would help, because I feel like this is just a formatting issue personally. I really feel like it is. I wonder. Let's try that. It could also just be a power supply issue, but I doubt that because the keyboard is working in some way, shape, or form. And now the keyboard does not work at all because oh no, it's actually back to working. All right, well, I'm going to restart my computer. Could be a formatting issue, could be something more. I might cut the video and look on my phone and see if other people have had this issue in the past, I'll acknowledge, where it's just specific keys not working, but like they type just fine, so it doesn't really make any sense for them not to work like it feels like they should. For all I know, it could be the soldering on the board is starting to come undone, and that's something I'd need to redo myself. That could very well be the case. I hope not, because that would be a pain and a project and a half. I'd just like it if this keyboard worked, especially for the price I paid for it, but I did also buy it at a thrift shop. So I knew this was a possibility. I'm not gonna say I didn't know it was a possibility. I knew this was a possibility without a doubt. It has now restarted, my computer has now restarted. Spacebar works. Just trying to think if there's anything. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video for just a couple minutes, do some research, and try to determine exactly what the issue is, and I'll be back. But what I can say right now is that as much as I love this keyboard and as much as I want it to work perfectly, it doesn't right now. I don't know whether it's actually because there's something mechanically wrong with the keyboard or if it's just a formatting issue. Could be for all I know. But what I do know is that it's just not working properly right now. Great condition keyboard, might not work properly. there might have been a reason it was at the thrift shop, as much as I hate to say it. Either way, though, well, now I've got a project, I do suppose. I'll be back in a couple minutes, and I will update y'all and let y'all know what I find. I will be back in a couple minutes. All right, we are back. After a little bit of research, it appears that this might be an internal problem with the keyboard. I don't think it's a mapping problem. I don't think it's some sort of issue with my computer not registering specific keys and stuff like that kind of thing, especially when a lot of the keys that don't work, like G and H, both don't work. They're next to each other and whatnot kind of thing, and these two don't work. Those didn't work. Wait, hold up. These two weren't work. Keys are starting to work when they weren't working previously. Hold up. This is my live reaction right now. What is going on? Get my backspace to work. That's all I need. What is going on? What is going on? So, Q does not work. W does not work. E does not work. R does not work. T does not work. So the entire top row of keys up here does not work. Do the numbers work? Let's see. This is really odd because the numbers are working intermittently. Like I hit 2 and then it worked, but then the last time it didn't work. Well, I think we can confirm with this now that since some of the keys are working intermittently, it's not a software problem. It's not my computer having a mapping issue with it. If it was a mapping issue, it'd either work or not, I imagine. This has got to be a hardware issue because otherwise the keys would just not work at all, kind of thing. So yeah, this has got to be a hardware issue. My guess is with this keyboard is that there is some sort of probably either corrosion on the inside of it or some sort of soldering issue where the soldering has loosened up and come undone. It's something that I'm going to have to watch some videos on like how to resolder Model Ms. I've done a little bit of soldering in the past. It's not my expertise, but this is now my $85 project. My $85 project. Get this keyboard back up and running. For all I know, I crack it open, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm just being silly. I could very well be completely wrong about what the issue with this keyboard is. But the fact of the matter is that right now, the keys don't work to the extent where I can't even unlock my computer to get to a key test website. That's how much this keyboard is not working. And that sucks. That sucks, frankly put, because I spent $85 on this keyboard at the thrift shop. But it was at the thrift shop for a reason, I imagine at least. And I bought it knowing that it might not work. Which is what it is. Which is what it is. Sometimes you get stuff from the thrift shop that works, and sometimes you don't. And this is one of those you don't scenarios. But the silver lining is that at least this keyboard sometimes works. It's not completely effed by any means. Some of the stuff does work. So we're not having a power supply issue. We're not having anything like that. It's just the fact that either a lot of keys are really sticky. I swear I just saw the backspace work, but I'm not sure. Either way, fact of the matter is that even though this keyboard, what was I saying? It is what it is. I can't remember what I was about to say. Man, I'm so disappointed. I am honestly very disappointed. I was so hyped. I've been waiting to make a video on this keyboard for like a week after I bought it, 2 weeks after I bought it, and then a week waiting for the other converter to show up. And it just doesn't work properly. I was looking forward to using this keyboard a lot. It is what it is. It is what it is. I am disappointed. But yeah, with the keyboard being how it is, with some keys starting to work and then not working again, and then not working and then starting to work, and just with the keys being intermittently working, I think is really the right way of putting it. I can't use this right now. I can't use this keyboard right now. I can't game on it. I can't type on it. This is going to be a project. I'm going to have to do a bunch of research. I'm going to have to watch a bunch of YouTube videos. I'm going to have to relearn how to solder. And we're going to see if we want to try to work on this keyboard in the future and fix it up. Unless I'm completely wrong about what the issue is. Because I could be completely wrong, I will acknowledge, and it could be something else. But I am confident in saying it's not a formatting issue, and it's probably something inside the keyboard itself. I'll have to take a look at that, figure out what the real problem is, and once I figure all that out, I will have to, I think, make another video. That's going to be the plan, yeah. I think for the time being, this keyboard is going to go into a box, or it's going to sit on the shelf, or something like that kind of thing. And once I get around to it, I will do a bunch of research on this keyboard, figure out what the real issue might be. I'll crack it open on video and make a whole video where I'm trying to restore this keyboard and the internals of it as well, where I'm trying to restore the internals of it and trying to figure out exactly what the issue is. Might try that. I'm not going to guarantee that I'm actually going to make that video. I'm not going to guarantee it. It's just an idea. Depending on how much this is, I could, if there's like an IBM Model M expert in my local area that's willing to fix it for 20, 30 bucks, I might just take it to them in all honesty. I don't think that's the case though, but I might have to do some research. Either way though, I'll be making a future video on this keyboard, either when I get it working, or when somebody else gets it working, or I'll make a video of me trying to get it to work in the future. But for the moment, I can say this keyboard don't work. Not all the way. It's like 50% of the way there. This keyboard only works 50. This is a 50% keyboard, except it's a 100% keyboard that only works 50% of the time. That's what this keyboard is. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. Yeah. Well, it is quite a shame to end this video on the fact that the IBM Model M that I bought at the thrift shop for $85 doesn't work. It's quite a shame to end this video off on that bombshell, I will acknowledge. But it is what it is, and nothing can be done. I can't do anything about it. It is a shame to leave this video off right here, I'll acknowledge. Because this is honestly pretty disappointing. But it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, you live and you learn. I bought something at the thrift shop. Electronics don't always work at the thrift shop. And it don't work. It don't work, I'll acknowledge. It is what it is. It's a shame that it doesn't work, but there ain't nothing I can do about it. And I'll have to update y'all on what happens in the future, without a doubt, whether it be on video or on video, because I'm going to be making a video in the future, whether this gets to working or whether I end up getting it to work, kind of thing. Well, hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. If you guys own an IBM Model M and you guys have experienced a similar issue in the future, leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below, y'all, because I don't know anything about how to fix IBM Model M, so just let me know what you guys think about fixing it in the comments down below. I think, since I spent $85, it's worth fixing without a doubt. And, yeah, if you guys know anything about IBM Model M's and you guys think you know what the issue is, let me know in the comments down below, as I said. Also, make sure to check out my Instagram, my book, my merch, my website, and everything like that. Also in the description down below. But, yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and As much as I hate to end it off with this keyboard not working, that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much for watching today's video, y'all. To the next one, stay safe in peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?